Labor argues there could be disastrous consequences from extending emergency changes to workplace laws. Let's go live now to our political reporter, Eliza Edwards. Eliza, the Treasurer says it's too soon to shift away from those policies.
Yeah, Danica, these laws that allow businesses greater flexibility and more easily negotiate changes to the hours their employees are working and when they can go on leave. These changes that were made at the start of the pandemic to give businesses that greater flexibility, and the government has decided to keep those emergency measures in place for the time being to support businesses like Queensland tourism operators, for instance, who may be able to give workers more hours during the October school holidays when domestic visitors arrive, but can't keep up those hours because our international borders remain closed. Here's the Treasurer and the Business Council of Australia Chief making the case for those laws to stay in place.
This is going to be a hard grind for those businesses. It's not business as usual. I mean, borders are closed, social distancing is in place, Victoria is in lockdown. What we're talking about is having discussions with the stakeholders to continue those JobKeeper arrangements in terms of the IR laws. Because can I say that the protections for the staff members remain. Adverse action, coercion, unfair dismissals, occupational health and safety, all those protections are in place. But we want to give the businesses the best opportunity to go forward.
Well, I hope they're open to this idea because I think the cooperation that's happened between the ACTU particularly and employer groups has saved tens of thousands of jobs, and we have to continue to focus on creating new jobs and saving those jobs that might be at risk. And the sort of flexibility that we're looking for is that capacity to ramp up hours of work, ramp down hours of work, change hours of work, remove some of these very long lead times in rostering, in some cases 8 weeks to change a roster. It's that kind of flexibility that companies are looking for.
But Danica, Labor and the unions argue continuing these flexibility arrangements will mean less secure work for Australians, and they're calling for a clear end date to these arrangements.
We don't want these industrial relations changes to be the thin end of the wedge. We'd be very wary about temporary crisis time arrangements becoming permanent. We think it would be a bizarre and potentially disastrous conclusion for the government to draw that the best way to deal with rising unemployment and rampant underemployment is even more job insecurity for Australian workers. That would be the wrong conclusion to draw. We know that the Treasurer draws his inspiration, as he said on Friday, from Thatcher and Reagan. That would send a shudder down the spine of many Australian workers.
Eliza, the government has given its strongest signal yet. It won't reverse the entire increase to JobSeeker.
Yeah, that's right. The Treasurer all but guaranteeing today that JobSeeker will be extended beyond the new December expiry date. From September, the coronavirus supplement will be cut back to $250 a fortnight, taking the total value of JobSeeker to around $800 a fortnight. And the Treasurer today saying that that scheme is likely to be extended into next year.
It means that we're very favourably disposed to continuing it, but we've got to do an assessment of where the jobs market is at that time. And obviously it's all about getting the balance right.